I want to thank Dean and the team from Personalize for inviting me to come speak at your Peace 2012 conference. Really, the topic of today's conference, although we're going to touch on technology and we're going to touch on customer experience and how they affect you and your practice, the real thing that ties things together is value. And what I'm hoping you leave with today is a new and refreshed understanding of how to create and build value in your practice that your patients appreciate, respect, and will pay for. I do work with a number of companies, many of them in the ophthalmic arena, some of them outside ophthalmics. And what drives me is the desire to work with technologies that are self-pay or elective, where the patient is paying the bill, not insurance or a third-party reimbursement system. And when it comes to value, I think the fundamental question that will most affect the value that is created in your practice is your definition of what business you are in. And if you look at these three mega corporations and how they define what business they're in, Starbucks doesn't say they're in the coffee business, but they're in the people business. Whole Foods, the largest organic market, is in the entertainment business. And Apple Computer is no longer really a computer company, but rather one about consumer electronics and music, as much or more so than selling laptops. And of course, we have the iPhone. So their expanded business is really, really different and has changed how they would answer this question. When you look at different businesses and you look at the value that was created, one of the greatest things that ever happened in eye care has been the advent of the excimer laser. And over the past 20 years, we've seen it create tremendous value. Millions and millions of people worldwide have had this procedure. It is the single most popular elective surgical procedure in the world. Think about the value that's been created for patients in their daily lives, for practices, the ability to hire staff, and of course for industry and manufacturers. It's been tremendous. And this measurement here of what happened in LASIK over, at least in the US, over a 15-year period shows that even though we have a great procedure, if doctors try to create value by lowering the price, they actually destroyed value. Because when they lowered the price by an average of 20% starting in the year 2000, the demand for the procedure actually fell. It didn't go up, which really proves that LASIK, much like most healthcare offerings, are inelastic, meaning they're not subject to supply and demand forces where if you lower the price, you'll sell more of it. The impact of what happened in the early part of this first decade of the century was that doctors here in the United States actually left on the table more than $1.5 billion, and it was all profit that they gave up from their discounting behavior. This was a very expensive lesson to learn. The story of the excimer laser actually got better once we had the intralaser laser, which has now been in the US for just about 10 years. And I've been studying the impact of the intralaser laser in many markets, both the US and around the world. And one of the things that we saw is that patients absolutely pay for what they value. And patients value safety. And when doctors, as shown here, offered both the blade and the laser, 80% of the time, 4 out of every 5 patients say, I'll pay more to have the laser. In fact, they were paying on average anywhere from $350 to $725 more to have their LASIK started with a femtosecond laser. And the price difference here is just stratified by where the doctor's fee was for LASIK prior to surgery. Those at the lower end discount part of the continuum were able to raise their fees even more and get back to a more sane pricing schedule given the value of what we offer to patients. 10, 11 years ago, there were no LASIK procedures done in the US or anywhere really with the laser. Today, US and worldwide, that's 70%. It is clearly a standard of care. And the question now becomes, with this laser for cataract surgery, what is going to happen? Will it be something like the femtosecond laser for LASIK, or will it be something bigger, or will it be just a fad? Well, if we look at cataract as a population, cataract surgery occurs 3 to 6 times more than LASIK surgery every year because of its incidence in the population and because of the notion of it truly does cure and allow people to see, because they can't see well with glasses even if when they have a cataract. And we see in the US, at least, that the average age of the patient having cataract surgery is declining, where truly now 20 to 25% of the procedures being done in the US are being done people less than 65 years old. This is because we have better diagnostic and treatment tools. This is because we have a redefinition of what it means to see well. And people, because of the LASIK phenomenon, want to see well without glasses after all forms of eye surgery. The problem with cataract surgery is that it traditionally has not given LASIK-like outcomes. So we need to make the outcomes better, and technologies such as the laser and the aura from WaveTech that help intraoperatively are helping us move towards seeing as well with cataract surgery afterwards as we do after LASIK surgery. The question as to whether or not your patients even want this has been asked in several surveys. The first one I did several years ago, we asked these 3 questions, and what we found is that patients absolutely view vision as an extremely important, the most important of all their senses. And they don't want great vision because they want to look and feel young. They want great vision because it's important to them and it affects how they live. And unfortunately, people don't have a good understanding of their options still today. And it's going to be up to you at the primary care level in optometry to adequately explain those options. Patients who are undergoing cataract surgery clearly express a willingness. The vast majority say they would pay more the majority saying they would pay more for clear vision at all distances. And we actually found out that 1 out of every 4 patients say they would pay at least $2,000 per eye to be able to see without glasses after cataract surgery. Fully half say they'd pay at least $1,000 per eye.